A couple of little just quick catch-ups from Signalgate, which continues to be a thing for reasons I cannot explain. But Kristen Welker was talking with her panel this weekend about the fact that Hillary Clinton wrote an op-ed about how irresponsible it was for them to publicly discuss, not publicly, but on the Signal thing, discuss classified information because Hillary Clinton is now the expert on keeping things classified.
She's the bar. She's the bar now. Okay.
Hillary Clinton.
You can't make this up. You cannot.
You can't. Okay. Here's a little excerpt that Kristen reads for her panel from Hillary's op-ed.
A lot of people are pointing to what Republicans said about Hillary Clinton, who is out with an op-ed in the New York Times today. Let me read you part of it. She says, "It's not the hypocrisy that bothers me. It's the stupidity. We're all shocked that the President Trump and his team don't actually care about protecting classified information or federal record retention laws. But we knew that already. What's much worse is that top Trump administration officials put our troops in jeopardy by sharing military plans on a commercial messaging app and unwittingly invited a journalist into the chat. That's dangerous and it's just dumb."
Oh my God.
Says Hillary.
Yeah. It's like Casey Anthony writing an op-ed on parenting. What?
Yes.
What in the world? Okay. Yes, it's a great idea. Let's all listen to her.
JD Vance also responded to a reporter's question about Signalgate. I think the question was something like, when are we going to know the results of this internal investigation or whatever? And JD, as always, answered perfectly.
We expect an update on the internal investigation into that Signal chat leak. Has that investigation concluded, and what are the findings?
I think we'll get an update soon. Look, we take it very seriously. We all accept that a journalist should not have been invited into the chat, and members of the administration, including my dear friend Mike, have taken responsibility for it. But I find the American media's obsession with this issue very, very interesting, because I happen to remember about 4 years ago when American military leadership made a catastrophic error that got 13 innocent Americans killed in Afghanistan and had about $80 billion of military equipment turned over to one of the worst terrorist organizations in the world. And for years, the American media ran cover for a Biden administration that refused to fire any generals or even launch an internal investigation that was meaningful and substantive about what happened. And now the same American media that covered for the Biden administration after the untimely death and the unnecessary death of 13 brave Americans is really, really interested in forcing the President of the United States to fire someone because of a Signal chat. That is not honest behavior from the American media. And if you think you're going to force the President of the United States to fire anybody, you've got another thing coming. President Trump has said it on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, and I'm the Vice President saying it here on Friday. We are standing behind our entire national security team.
Yeah. So we don't really care, Margaret.
Yes, we don't really care.
We don't care. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So speaking of rumors, there's now this new rumor, I guess, that the left is trying to create, that there's friction between Vance and Trump.
No.
I know, it's totally made up, just like the Elon. They wanted to put a divide between Trump and Elon, trying to do the same thing with Vance. They're claiming it's because Vance is too... copycat's not the right word, but they're basically saying Vance is sucking up too hard and that Trump doesn't like it. And so imagine who one of the worst people to try to promote this ridiculous idea would be. I'm guessing that Scaramucci probably comes to mind at some point because he is one of the people that's trying to promote this idea. He was on with Aaron Burnett of CNN and they were dishing about it. Aaron even said something about how, well, there was one meeting where they were both wearing the same color red tie. So that must drive Trump crazy. This is the level of stuff we're talking about. Scaramucci, oh my God. I completely forgot he was a thing until I saw this clip. Check it out.
So, I understand the modeling and the mimetic nature of the vice president. I think it's a mistake, but you'll see the full capitulation, Aaron, when he shaves his beard and he goes the full George Steinbrenner route with Donald Trump without having the Boston Red Sox reliever beard. But I think it's a mistake for him. And I think modeling himself after the president, he's not the president. And whether you like the president or dislike the president, he has the following. He has the riz for his team MAGA.
The riz?
J.D. Vance hasn't proven that. I think it's probably annoying to the president that he's over modeling him. You know, people mistake this about President Trump. I don't think he likes the obsequiousness stuff. I mean, people, you know, that chat that they did on Signal, they were all doubling and tripling down on each other with what they think the president would like to hear and what they would like to say to the president. And
that's really interesting. You said he doesn't like the obsequiousness of it. I mean, as you know, Anthony, he dodged the question of whether Vance is his successor and the leader of the party. He didn't commit when Fox asked him directly. So do you think that's part of this?
I do think that's part of it. And I think at the end of the day, I predict that J.D. Vance will go the way of Mike Pence here. The president will make him more relevant. He'll do things to Vance that will compromise his position. He doesn't like the attention that Vance is giving. And
somebody save this clip for when he actually becomes president. Save this shitty clip of Scaramucci. You know, because they can't report on all the wins they're having. So this is what they do. They just sit around and they pontificate about, oh my God, I think that they're having infighting. And it's like, because this is what they would do. Because they don't win. They're not used to winning. Their side is used to losing all the time because they're complete pathetic losers. So they can't. I just cannot with this crap. It's just unbelievable.
Well, and it's again, it's like, you know, the same with Hillary being the person people are looking to for advice about how to keep classified documents. Scaramucci being the one to try to analyze what kind of person Trump likes. Dude, you lasted 10 days.
Right.
Okay. You're not the best person to comment on this.
Yeah.
So it's just the people that they choose.
Bottom of the barrel. Absolute bottom of the barrel.
I'm waiting for them to start saying, you know what, Mooch, you'd be a great president. You should run for president like they did with what's his name? The creepy lawyer, porn lawyer.
They're going to start bringing out Omarosa. Remember?
Oh my God.
We're going to start hearing from her.
I forgot about her too.
Bring her out. It's like, bring out your dead. Bring it. Yeah, it's just so stupid. And that's all it is. It's pontification from these people. Let's just try to make crap up because we cannot, God forbid, we talk about any of the things that these people are doing that are wins. And that's all he's been doing since he got into office is winning.
Well, they'd much rather obviously focus on the Signal chat because right now it keeps the heat off of them and how bad they are if they can constantly bring this up and remind people of it. But Senator Chris Coons was on the Squawk Box and they were like, how can you be this hypocritical? If you weren't calling for somebody's head after Afghanistan, you have no business talking about somebody having to be fired right now. They said it to him straight.
Did you call for Lloyd Austin's resignation? Not only did we lose 13 service members, we left $70 billion worth of equipment that fell into the hands of the Taliban.
Yeah.
A couple of years later, he was out of pocket for 2 weeks and didn't tell the White House. Did you ask for him to resign at this point? Are you actually asking for Hegseth and Waltz to resign when you didn't ask for Lloyd Austin?
There is nothing that Lloyd Austin did by getting health care treatment.
Okay, what about Afghanistan? What about Afghanistan? Did you guys forget that? The statute of limitations is over for 4 years? That's what
the fact
Mark
that the
Warner
Secretary of Defense was getting health care is fundamentally different from the Secretary of Defense sharing on an unsecure platform.
It was. You just said it was a success. Afghanistan was not a success.
I am not saying that the attack on the Houthis was not a success.
Should you have asked for Lloyd Austin's resignation from that, or?
I don't know whether Lloyd Austin's the person who should have been held accountable for it, but there should have been accountability.
In general,
you got to be effing kidding me with this. Look how these people are the biggest hypocrites. Always. They never cease to be hypocrites.
They're really good at it.
Right? It's what they're the best at. Is being pathetic loser hypocrites. Always, every day. We can count on it. That's the one thing that's dependable, right?
Well, and you can also count on Democrats, you know, falling in line with their new strategy of dropping F-bombs at every possible moment. So they've all gotten their marching orders. They know, listen, in order to sound hip and trendy and cool and badass, got to start throwing out some F-bombs. And who wants to be cooler or thought of as cooler than Eric Swalwell?
Oh my God.
What I loved about this video is that he posted it. This comes from his personal, like, official TikTok. So he basically hired one of his lackeys, like some loser reporter, not just to ask him, to set him up for a question, but to also drop an F-bomb in the question. So not only does Eric get to drop it, but he has the person asking the question drop one too. So both of them seem extra,
it's like
extra
a
cool.
double F-bomb. Did he fart while he did it? Did he do that too? So
I
gross.
was not in attendance.
Disgusting.
Yeah, he's gross. So and he even sets it up so it looks like this guy's catching him as he's walking out of a door. It's all so staged and ridiculous. Here it is.
Any chance
Hey, Congressman.
Hey, let me
Hey, Congressman. What the fuck is up with sharing war plans on Signal?
I wish this was a joke. It's not a joke. Is Pete Hegseth still the Secretary of Defense?
Apparently.
Well, that's some fucked up shit, right? So,
oh my God.
Donald Trump wants to fire everyone at the CIA and FBI and replace it with this? That to me is insane. And by the way, if you think this is the first time these idiots have done that, no, and they'll probably do it again. So to me, you gotta get rid of these guys. You can't keep these folks around, otherwise you're inviting one of our adversaries to attack us again.
Yeah, he's on his way to
with a spy.
I was going to say he's on his way to bang a Chinese spy right now. That's what he's on his way to do. Gross.
Again, this is who you want to lecture us about keeping secrets safe. Okay.
They pick the best people, don't they? he's so gross too. He's just oh God, he makes my skin crawl.